Good, I didn't like how I started that.
Okay, I'm just going to start it recording, and then when I count you down and I start the timer, just start. That way we don't listen.
Okay.
Okay, so not till the timer is going.
Here we go. 5, 4, whether the red lights are on or not. 5,
Apparently.
4, 3.
Hi, and welcome to Speaking Of. I'm Jared.
I'm Kate.
And you have a story.
I do. Well, we recently got air conditioning, finally, because it's so hot in here in the winter. It's so hot here in the summer time.
And the mood from the last episode trickles over to this
That's
one.
right. Some things
Anyway.
just never die. Anyway, so the gentleman that's putting our central air in came by the house while we weren't home, which was fine. We gave permission for that. But so he went through the fence to the backyard to drop off all the equipment that he's going to need, right?
Right.
So because we hadn't prepared for it, because I wasn't aware that he was coming that day, the dog was just loose in the backyard. And so I said, well, how was the dog? Was she okay? Like, is she going to attack anybody? Whatever. So he's like, oh no, she was fine. After we dropped off the stuff, I played ball with her. And I'm like, wow. So I texted my husband and I was like, well, apparently we have another really good guard dog. Because strangers come into the backyard.
She is a really good guard dog.
To you.
Yeah.
Well, so I said,
Yes.
I told Joe that. I'm like, yeah, I guess he just played with her. And he said, well, that's probably because Leo has hair.
I am sick of it.
Awkward.
I am sick of the bigotry to the bald. I will have none of it anymore. Bald brothers, we must stand up and unite. So, I've never done anything wrong to your dog.
No,
ever.
in fact, you fed her.
I fed her.
Kept her alive.
I kept her alive. And I think we did talk about this in another episode, where when I was taking care of said dog, every time I showed up until the very last day, that was the only day out of 4 days. So yeah.
But then how long was it before you came back again?
A day. And when I came back after a day,
Not B day.
she
A
was
day.
going to eat me.
But here's the thing. She's wagging her tail.
She wags her tail and she barks, and I'm really still interested in having the pet whisperer.
We need
or dog
if
whisperer
anybody knows
or
a
something.
pet/dog whisperer, we need to know what's going on.
I kind of do, but I don't know if this person would be willing to be on camera, but I'll have to look into that.
A pet whisperer?
I know a dog trainer, and I think that's as close to whisperer as we're gonna get.
No. Trainer, no.
No?
No.
You want a whisperer?
Yes.
We'll never get a whisperer.
All the trainer's going to do is tell you how to stop the behavior, which is, fine, but we want to know why.
Actually, yeah, we do want to know why.
That's
so, yeah.
important.
But it's not just your dog either, though. I can be walking through the store, and if I'm just walking through the store, I have people go out of, they will see me coming and they turn.
Okay, well, I got to tell you something. That has nothing to do with you being bald and everything to do with you being you. He says this as though it's new. These occurrences have never happened before.
No, it didn't happen when I had hair.
I bet it did.
So that and the other assumptions I get is that I'm in the military,
Well,
a police officer.
is Joe a real police officer?
We can't tell that story on the air either.
You gotta stop saying that.
Yeah.
We have secrets.
Secrets. But yeah, I've had people go as far as to come up and thank me for serving our country.
Way.
Yes.
People are presumptuous.
They are, and I always feel guilty because...
No, you know what you should do is you should say, well, thank you, but I was dishonorably discharged.
Yeah, that's even better. As if I didn't feel guilty about misrepresenting the military as it is. Now I have to be a dishonorable military person.
Or you could say, thank you, but could you please not tell anybody that you saw me? I'm currently AWOL.
That one I like.
Yeah, do that. Next time.
So, but I think the best was when I was still teaching, and one of the parents asked me if I was an MMA fighter.
Oh, the MMA!
I made the mistake of saying no, and I knew as soon as the Y came out of my mouth, I'm like, if you could just suck a word back in, it was one of those words. No, why? Well, you're bald.
And now that I think about it,
A lot of them are.
It's
on,
true.
on yeah. So, but in that particular moment, I was looking at my student and thinking, you know, this is where the old saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, comes into play.
Is it more of a bush?
Yeah, it wasn't very far. Actually, no, it was a really tall tree, and they hit all of the branches on the way down.
Oh my. Those kinds of trees, you want to stay away from the branches. Wow.
So, yeah, it was not...
Speaking of the MMA, I know. So, remember the time... Okay, Jared likes to watch the MMA.
I do. It's great. And the really... Okay, so here's the thing about the MMA. If they're the heavy fighters, like the heavyweight class...
The fat guys?
They're okay. But if you want to watch
Heavy
the
set.
mean guys, it's the lightweights. Like the skinny, crack skinny, 100-pound, 115-pound guys. They're mean.
Wow.
They go to town on each other. Anyway. Go ahead. Apparently I have a violent streak.
Yeah, apparently. Really? So, my husband also likes to watch the MMA, which is great. I guess it's better than football, but whatever. So...
It is better than football.
Anyway.
It
so
is.
we're sitting there watching it, and he's like, as soon as this fight's over, we can put in our movie, blah, blah, blah. Well, of course, we know that Jared's watching it too. I don't know this right away. I assume so. But then I learned that Joe and Jared are having a text conversation about said MMA.
Of course we are.
So whatever. So that's happening. That's all fine. In the meantime, I'm watching it with him, and I noticed that Joe guy, what's his name?
Rogan.
Joe Rogan is, and he's gotten a little thicker. Okay,
He's gotten a little thicker, and you know what else he's gotten? Bald. But not bald on purpose like me. Some of us just lose our hair. I swear he's shaving it on purpose, and that just makes me mad because if you have hair, by goodness, you should grow it.
Anyway.
Wow, I kicked in, didn't I?
I'll say. So, I noticed Joe Rogan.
Yes.
And I'm like, I know that guy from somewhere. What have I seen him in? So I IMDb him because I know I've seen him in something. And I'm like, oh yeah, Fear Factor. That's right. He was the host of Fear Factor. And then I keep scrolling and I'm like,
he was in...
Would you let me tell my story? See, this is what happens. So then I scroll up and I see, oh my gosh, he was in News Radio. That's right. He was the IT guy, tech guy, whatever. So I say to Joe, yeah, he was in News Radio. Okay, within 1 minute.
I don't even know within that. I swear it was in 30 seconds.
It was well, that's still within a minute.
Yes.
Really. Jared texts Joe. No, and says, what did you say?
I said, I'm trying to figure out what business that guy from News Radio has to be commentating on fights.
Joe was beside himself with what? And I'm like, this is what I'm telling you happens all the time. It's the E.T. Elliott thing.
It is the E.T. Elliott thing, and it happens more often than not. Like the other day, I woke up with a blinding headache that I had no reason to have. It wasn't allergies.
It was
her fault.
No, and remember that day that you were super grumpy for no reason?
Yes, and I had no reason to be grumpy at all.
I had a reason, and I shared it, apparently. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I've been grumpy since last night. That's why you woke up with it. Sorry.
Too funny. So yeah, so speaking of TV personalities, I have some news about one of our favorite TV personalities. And
I'm nervous because the last time you had news, it was not pleasant for me.
No, this is good. This person will be employed. I promise.
Okay, good.
All's right with the world. So we will be back in a minute. Remember to comment, like, favorite, subscribe, and all that other internet jazz. We'll be back in a minute.